everyone. For today's Murphy Law Monday, I want to touch on the topic of godparents and their role as legal custodians for children in the event of a death or incapacitation of the parents. Now, a godparent to most people is done through a religious ceremony, usually through the church or whatever religious ceremony practices you have, where the children are christened, and then the godparents are present, and in a ceremony they become the godparents. Now, one thing about that process that I think a lot of people do not consider, even parents, when they do the process, is the legal ramifications for children after the process is done. Now, although you, in the eyes of your religion, have officiated the godparentship, there is no parentship established legally. And what I mean by that is that if something happens to you, the court will not necessarily defer to the person who you named as godparent to automatically serve in the role of parents. Now, without a blood relationship, there is going to be a very high burden to prove for a de facto parentship to be established for third-party custody. And I think that in doing the religious ceremony, you have to also consider the legal ramifications. The better approach to just doing the religious ceremony for children when they are born is to have legal paperwork drawn up that says that in the event of either parent's death, that this person will serve as that child's parent and step into that role, or assist the grandparents or the sister or the mother or whoever in assuming that role, because without those legal documents, you really have no footing to establish to the court that there's been the maintenance and establishment of a parental relationship in the eyes of the law. Now, de facto parenthood has many requirements, but one of the most important ones is the best interest of the child and making sure that appointing or giving someone the role of parenthood does not negatively impact the child. So I think that, again, if you are someone's godparents and you do eventually end up stepping into the role of parent, you want to make sure that you've established a place in that child's life, that this wasn't just a one-time thing with the religious ceremony, that you're actually going to birthday parties, that you're actually doing activities, showing up to games, visiting, doing all of those things, so the child is familiar with you. So in the event that the courts have to get involved, you will have established enough to maintain a relationship with that child. And another thing that you can do, what the parents can do in anticipation of this, of likely or unlikely events, is draw up a will that governs the guardianship of the children and give those godparents guardianship in the event of their death or incapacitation. And that will kind of eliminate the need to go through a court proceeding to establish de facto parenthood, and it will more so be going through the court to officiate the guardianship that has already taken place. Now, this is, again, assuming that both parents are in agreement with this. God forbid something happens to both parents, then this would be a situation where both parents would not have to be in agreement. But if something happens to one parent and the other parent does not agree, by default, the other parent would automatically be retaining custody through the eyes of the law. However, if they both agree and have this document drawn up, then there will not be a dispute. And I think a lot of times we don't plan for these events and they happen, and then we're in predicaments that we have to seek legal advice and legal assistance to undo them, when in the beginning we could have just done that. And I think, again, consulting with an attorney about making official the godparentship that you've established through your church or your religion is very important, and it's something that a lot of people do not consider. But I have seen the other side of it. I've dealt with it on the godparent side. It's a very difficult process, and I advise that you do it at the onset while everyone is alive and well, and have it already officiated through the proper channels. If you're in need of legal services in the state of Maryland or in the District of Columbia, please give my office a call, 240-493-9116 and www.amurphylegal.com. Thank you.